You really want to know?
Yeah.
The answer is you, motherfucker.
All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about why and how black people are still voting for the Democrats in year 2024, right? So this is astonishing to me. And let me tell you why. First off, it's the narrative, right? This whole narrative that anyone who isn't a straight white rich man is like, should be a Democrat. You know, that all the gays, the blacks, the people of color, they're all on the same team. Like, to me, that's really infantilizing and stupid, because you're grouping a bunch of people together, a bunch of groups together that have no purpose being in the same group, right? Like, these are, if you look at, Hispanics, you look at black people, you look at gay people, these groups aren't the same so much that you can press the same political agenda for them. And they try to make each group advocate something for the other group that they wouldn't advocate for themselves. Like, for instance, blacks and Mexicans are super traditional, right? According to the Democratic Party, they're supposed to be on the same side as the LGBTQ, which, are the opposite of traditional. And I think that the narrative, a lot of people, it's an ideology at the end of the day, right? But this ideology and this narrative, a lot of progressives and liberals actually believe in it. And they look at the Trump victory and they're like, oh, all the blacks and the Mexicans are supposed to be on my side because my narrative says that anyone who's not a straight rich white man should be a Democrat. Like, and that's really, really stupid. It generalizes and it's stereotypical and it's offensive. And usually these are the people who think that they don't believe in stereotypes. But like, this whole narrative is kind of, racist. It is, like, it's a tiny bit racist. And that's why, like, when you look at things like the Joe Biden, if you're still figuring out whether you're going to vote for Trump or me, you ain't black.
Well, it's a long way until November. We got more questions. You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Like, oh, so in order for me to, keep my identity, I have to vote for you. Like, it's this weird, like, kind of slavery thing going on. It's not slavery in the chattel slavery sense. It's more so in the fact that, we as black people are supposed to do their bidding, and the Democratic Party is full of, some white, but mostly a group of people whose name I will not mention, but they're not black, right? So it's this weird, really offensive thing. I don't quite know the word for it yet, but when you top that with the fact that they've had 60 years, right? We're talking about the JFK, Lyndon B. Johnson to now, and things have probably gotten worse, right? Either they've stayed the same or they've gotten worse. I haven't looked up any specific numbers right now. But when you look at the culture and how black culture appears to people who aren't black, like the stereotypes of, like, the ghetto, single motherhood, and the broken families, that's all still there. And that energy is still very much present, in the black zeitgeist. And when you look at how the Democrats sponsor this culture through things like having Meg Thee Stallion and Glorilla and Cardi B speaking and performing at political rallies, like, this is the type of thing I mean. Like, the Democrats really do not have our best interest at heart, because this ghetto culture, these negative black stereotypes, they've kept us down, and the Democratic Party is only platforming and legitimizing these behaviors, And when you look at, the whole the culture and the themes behind these female rappers, it's all single mother behavior. And if you look at the stats behind single motherhood, you'll find that it's one of the biggest causes of gang culture, right? So like when you look at why black people in poorer areas are being kept down, you have to don't look any further than the culture. And who is breeding this culture? It's these progressives and these Hollywood elites and these Hollywood capitalists and these Democratic Party officials who use the entertainment industry to keep us down. And the Democrats are a huge part of that. And like, if you're a black person and you can't see this, you're a clown. And, you know, when you look at, you know, if you're black, it's likely that your grandparents or your great-grandparents were part of the civil rights movement. You know, maybe they weren't on the bus or walking through the streets on the marches or sitting in the restaurants. But like, our grandparents did a lot of work to get us as a group to where we are right now. You know, and I think that if you could take them and put them in our shoes now, they would see that we as black people are doing more damage to ourselves than white people have done to us in recent years. Like, yes, Reagan and the CIA did their numbers, you know, slavery, Jim Crow, you know, but black people have already, I don't want to say we've outworked these struggles that were past it, but there have been black people in black communities that have been able to thrive, even coming from oppressive, you know, white governments or white elites. So if you can have black, you know, millionaires and business owners in the 50s and in the 40s, you know, then black people really shouldn't have this hard of a time working ourselves out of this culture of, you know, gangs and poverty. But again, we be stepping on our own feet. It's an individual. It's something that we have to deal with. And the first thing we have to do is cut the umbilical cord between ourselves and the Democratic Party, or else we're always going to be in this scenario where we have these negative stereotypes about us being criminals and us being lazy, you know? And I'm not saying you have to be a Republican. This is not like an endorsement for the Republican Party or any Republican candidate. I'm just wondering, how are you still wasting your time with the Democrats? Like, be a communist, be a monarchist, be anything, be a Catholic, be a Christian. Like, just don't be a Democrat, because we've spent so much time and they haven't done anything. All right, so that's pretty much all I had to say. But lastly, here's a TikTok that pretty much gets across what I was trying to get at in this video.
I'm going to just call it exactly what it is. Kamala Harris has been running a whole campaign. Now, let me put my disclaimer out there. This is intended for entertainment purposes only. These are my own thoughts and my own opinions. Since Kamala Harris stepped foot in this race, the only thing that she has been promoting to young women is hoe activities. From the performances of Meg Thee Stallion to the speeches of Cardi B, as if we don't know how all of these women have been operating in the industry, tells you one thing. This is not about no reproductive rights. This is about hoe activity rights. Y'all can be mad with me if you want to, but it's the truth. For the old women that have had that type of lifestyle already, I'm not talking to y'all. These are also the same women that get on the internet and be crying about how when they 60 years old pushing how they need a man and how they want a man. Vivica Fox. I want to talk to the younger women, because in the Bible it says that the wise women will teach the young women. And you got a lot of these older women that wants to compete with these young women, and they don't have any wisdom to give you. And that's including Kamala Harris. Now, all of these women that she has put in front of you for her campaign all have relationship issues, issues with their reputation, issues with their some alleged activities, P. Diddy, to go on. These are no women to be listening to or looking up to at all. They all have had to do some strange things for some change in order to make it.